everybody, welcome in once again to another edition of the Voice of Camp Nathanael, coming at you right here on the campus of Camp Nathanael in Emelina, Kentucky. Stephen Bell with you as always, with my good friend, the always on time, Lee Sharp. I even introduced you. What's your name?
This is Lee Sharp.
There's a reason that I gave you that introduction.
Over here adjusting my headphones.
I mean, is
it because you're running behind?
It's
today?
because I'm running behind. In fact, I am 30 minutes late to the podcast today when I should have been here.
We have to schedule these things now.
We do, man.
Where Stephen is now at the church working.
Yep,
we have to be a little bit more coordinated and on time. And I don't know.
We have to be. That doesn't mean we always are. In fact, today is one great example of why that's the case. But hey, we're excited because we've got a good program today. This is one of those where we get to sit down. There's more of us in the studio. We usually try to have more of us in the studio than just us.
We try.
It's always better around conversation. But we've got two guests in the studio with us today.
We do.
How about you introduce them there to us, Lee?
We have the Raffertys.
What up, Raffertys?
Hey.
Austin and Katie are here, man. This is cool. This is cool. You know what's interesting right now? And I say this a lot because at this table, the Raffertys, the Sharps, the Bells are all represented. Now, if you total up our kids, all right? You total up our kids. Anybody got the number right off the top of your head? 7 plus 6 plus 4.
17?
That's 17 kids.
Wow.
17 kids.
In 3 families.
What have we done?
We have loaded the soccer field.
We have, haven't we? Oh, man.
Also, at some point, there's going to be a strange thing when the guy with 4 kids is the small family.
That's true. Like right now. That's right.
That's normally not the small family. Normally, it's they have 1 kid.
Right. We're all blessed to be part of the same church, and we're part of the same small group within that church. And within our small group, there are like 44 people.
Yeah, that's 4 families.
There are churches that are not that big. Do we realize that? That's the thing, man. Well, hey, Austin and Katie, we're so happy you guys could sit in on a missionary highlight episode with us today. We do these ever so often to where we get to hear stories of how God has brought people to this ministry, how God is using them here as a part of this ministry, and just kind of get a little insight as to just God's story in your all's life and how He has brought you to this place, man. So this is pretty good stuff.
Yeah. So
awesome.
We'll start off. Where did you all grow up?
You want to go first?
Sure. So short answer, I grew up until around the age of 11 in Indiana. I know.
I was getting ready to say, because you just said, I grew up until the age 11. Then what happened?
I'm still working on the rest. And then I was transplanted here in Kentucky, right? I got here as fast as I could.
Mm-hmm.
And then I actually grew up right across. I went to school right across from camp at Emelina.
Yeah.
Grew up up in a head of a holler back in the road, right off of 80. Grew up around here, went to Not Central after Emelina.
I'm going to pause you here. What is head of a holler? As somebody who did not grow up in the mountains,
you know what's funny?
Where is the location of the head of the holler?
Hang on, I do have to clarify something here because normally when you stop someone and say, "Can you explain what that means?" It's a big theological term. Not so much this time.
Not so much. Okay. Are you saying the head of a holler is not a theological term? Maybe it could be.
Let's find out.
Someone's heart.
Define head of a holler.
So when I say head of a holler, what I mean is when you turn up a road.
Okay.
Typically, it starts out with blacktop, and then you go as far as you possibly can. Mm-hmm. You've passed several houses, and then it turns to gravel. And then you keep going until almost you can't go any farther. You have now made it to the head of the holler. And
he's right.
That's where we grew up. Yeah.
So it's the last house. When you're heading into a holler, which you're in between a couple of mountains.
It's the last house.
It's going to be the last house.
There you go.
On that particular road.
Yep, yes. That's it. That's the head of the holler.
And they are deemed or crowned or given the title of
A holler is
the
just
head of the holler, which is typically because it's going to be the.
Well,
as I'm thinking about it, they're going to be like almost like the head of the family in some ways because they're like the final house on
maybe
the line.
that's where it got its name from because where you turn into the holler, it's called the mouth of the holler.
Okay.
There is nothing that exists below the neck in a holler. I mean, it's the head or the mouth, and they're two separate things apparently.
And so to kind of to play into that, if you think of waters, the headway, right, or the mouth, like that's kind of where that comes. Like
that seems way more believable than what I said.
I apologize to all,
that could be somewhat
all of
theological.
our listeners in Eastern Kentucky. Maybe you learned something today. While I had you all and I had the mic here, I was like, I would like an actual answer to this.
Either
what
way,
does this mean?
Either way, we've spent way too much time talking about the head of the holler.
The holler. Okay, so you grew up at the head of the holler.
Yep. And that's where I grew up. And I've been in the area between Knott and Perry County the rest of my life so far.
All right. Over the mountain
in Harlan County, in Bledsoe, the big city of Bledsoe. That's where I was born and raised. I went to Harlan Independent growing up. And then I moved to Hazard when I was right out of high school. Went to college here at the community college. And been here ever since.
Very cool.
Brought her in.
Yeah, that's true.
So how did you all meet?
We actually met working at camp.
Look at that, man.
There you go. One of those camp stories.
Camp, just bringing people together, right?
There's a few of those stories.
There are a few of those stories.
There's quite a few of those stories, actually. I want to act like that's a surprise, but that's really not.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that could fall into play there. So.
Yeah, a lot of people right around the same age, and then they're working together in close proximity. Relationships happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, where better to find the love of your life, right? Than at a place that you both agree on fundamentally. In such a big way, right?
Yeah. So you guys, you met here. You didn't start dating until later.
Yep.
Right. And then, so kind of pick us up because eventually, obviously, you're going to get married. You're in different. You find yourself in a different profession and stuff like that. So we're getting all of that.
Yeah,
I'm jumping ahead. Where are we going from here,
Lee? Y'all met, dated for a while, got married, and Steven's already brought up the large number of children.
Yes.
You all have a little bit of story about your kids because some of them are adopted.
Yes, 3 of them.
Yeah.
That's something else we all share around this table, which is pretty cool too.
We're like the same people.
That's nuts, man. That's nuts. But yeah, man, just if y'all want to share any kind of stories along those lines, feel free. It's totally up to y'all.
So yeah, like you said, we met here at camp. And we were both summer missionaries. Really, really quickly, just we fell in love with camp. But then, in talking to each other, we both not only had this love for Camp Nathanael, but we could really pick up on our love for Christ and really a huge love for children. Very quickly, I knew she wanted a large family. I wanted a large family. I often joked that we should have 6 kids, right? A basketball team.
I thought large as in 4 children.
Yes.
Maybe 5.
Yeah.
I grew up in a family of 4 kids. So I thought that was a big family.
Yeah.
You grew up in a rather, how many siblings do you have?
So I have that's a complicated story. All in all, I've got like 5 sisters.
Okay.
So yeah, different.
So both of you, I mean, that's a lot. That's a large number in this day and age. That many kids. And so,
but so yeah, we just knew that we wanted kids. We both love kids very much, and so then as the time goes by, we really started just getting to know each other better. And I mean, like I thought she was the prettiest thing I've ever seen. So I put on my best foot forward, and eventually convinced her that marrying me would be a good choice, right? And so,
well played.
Yeah.
She's shaking her head for all of our listeners right now.
For everyone, yeah.
He's got to make it dramatic.
It's good storytelling.
Yeah.
And we had 2 kids, a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old. when my husband approached me and said he would like to do foster care.
Yeah.
And my exact words were, over my dead body.
Okay.
I was not receptive to it at all. I did not want to. And I was only thinking about all of the heartbreak.
Mm-hmm.
And then...
Well, as a loving husband, right, what do? Yes, ma'am, I'm going to go to the big boss. I'm going to go talk to God.
Yeah.
And say, God,
he must have prayed a lot.
Your will be done, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so eventually...
one day, I mean, after thinking about it a lot and praying about it a lot, one day I came home and I was like, so I made a call today and signed us up for some foster care classes. And I mean, one thing led to another. We had 3 boys placed with us and they never left.
Never left the house.
And I want to chime in here on this thoughts because there's a lot of cool stuff that was happening.
Mm-hmm.
Like obviously God was moving in some big ways. Katie, I don't know how she would handle, having someone in her house falling so in love. Like she loves hard. And so that was always a concern, but we trusted God. And the neat thing, God, he provided in big ways, even in that moment where we're trying to reach out and we're trying to help. And the fact that our very first placement, were the boys we adopted. And so Katie never had to go. She was willing. And
yeah, we said yes to that. God, your plans, you're obviously calling us to do this, even if it means that we are going to get our hearts broken, but we will do this to love kids.
Yeah.
And God was very, very kind to my heart that I never had to go through.
And then one of my requests were, I talked to the foster agency and I said, we really have some unique names. Like, come on, we don't want normal names here. Jokingly, I got to throw that out there. And so when he calls me up, he said, hey, I heard you, Austin. And we got a very interesting name. We got a Blazin, a Damien, and an Axton.
Yeah, man.
And it was wild. It was fun times.
That was cool. Well, we love your all's family. We've grown to love your kids, and we know same as mutual on your all's end for our crew. So you're growing your family. So let's go now, unless there's another one to throw in here. What brought you guys around? Because you guys said you loved Camp Nathanael. You loved your Camp Nathanael. You loved Camp Nathanael so much you named one of your kids after it.
Yeah.
All right.
We did. That's true.
So what happened? All right. What happened to bring you guys that God did to bring you guys to where you are now? Here is a part of the
because you all were working some different jobs. I know
right.
You'd spent some time at the college. You had worked some in the mines as well, which is
underground surveyor.
Really cool, and I mean common in Eastern Kentucky, but a very unique job when you start getting into the wider United States. Because it's like, what, you worked in the mines? And like that's really cool. Not that everybody who is working down in the mines right now, you might not think of your job as cool, but I say this as the person who did not grow up in the mountains.
Right, yeah.
It's kind of neat. It's just unique to the area. So anyway, how did camp?
You want to start?
Yeah, I think that I kind of got the ball rolling with it. I'm not really sure how it became a conversation because we always wanted to be at camp. That was always we thought it was an unreachable dream. We always loved the idea of working full time, but we didn't think it was actually a reality that we could do. And one day I just started talking to Austin about it, saying this would be so cool. And I actually reached out to Josh Feltner, who we knew from when we were on summer staff. And I was talking with him about it and he was like, yeah, I would love to have some conversations. But then the flood happened.
Yeah.
And everything kind of got crazy for everybody, for camp, for our church, taking care of everything with the flood. And we kind of dropped it for a little while. And then later we picked it up in probably the beginning of 2023 sometime. We started, or 2024, I don't remember. We started talking about it.
We've been here a year.
goodness.
Wow.
Yeah, that's crazy. More on that later because I want to go back to something and just talk about how God provides and stuff like that. But anyway, go ahead.
But we started talking about it again, and Austin was like, there's no way. We have 6 kids at the time, and we were like, there's no way. We have a 7th one on the way. There's no way we could ever afford financially to do that. He felt very strongly that he needed to provide for us and that working at camp, we wouldn't be able to make a living. And I said, I think we'd be okay. I think we'll be fine.
And let me chime. So one of the things too was I had, in my opinion at that time, my dream job. Like I was my own boss. I was teaching at the college. I was getting to play with 3D printers and surveying equipment. And I had my summers off making more money than I've even made underground. Like I was making good money. And so it was more of the, like I'd remember making comments like, "There's no way I'd ever leave this job. Like they'd have to offer me $1 million and give me half the year off, right? And not to come to camp. That was for anywhere. Like camp wasn't even.
I don't think necessarily that you thought it was an actual reality that we could ever work here. Yeah,
like that was kind of the thing with camp. Is it was almost like, man, I've met those people at camp, and they are like I know me as a messed up dude. As a sinner, right? Like there's no way I can achieve that level campness, right? And so that really was what
campness
was.
Is that a thing? Campness?
It should be, if not.
It's a theological term.
There you go.
But over time, God really started like just dealing with me in big ways. I started having conversations, and it felt like all my conversations. I had a conversation with you.
I remember that conversation. I remember exactly where we were standing and what was going on.
At the pool, yeah. And it was like, everything was just like, oh, yeah, the only thing really that is knocking you out right now, and my wife actually said this verbatim, is you. And I'm like, oh, no, that can't be the case, right? And so, like, I just asked God, all right, God, give me some insight here. Like this can't be, it can't just be me. Right. Like, but then man, God really just started opening doors and opening my eyes and my heart and here we are. Right. Like it was cool.
Wow. Yeah. Now the crazy thing here to me, cause we know, God provides for his people. If God's called you something, he's already got it worked out. He's going to make sure that's there. But and you don't have to go into the specifics of this, but when you come on board here at camp, it's just like any other missionary opportunity. You raise support to be here. Our listeners know that our staff is here, but because of the financial support of very generous people who are giving unto the Lord. How long did it take for you guys to reach where you could come on full time from the time you started? Because keep in mind, the larger your family, the more that number grows, and that's because camp wants you to come in and make sure you're taken care of, and it's not going to be a stressful situation on you.
I think that was one of the stumbling blocks that we had with it was we knew we would have to raise so much support, and we really wondered why anyone would want to give to our family, that we kind of felt like we weren't worthy of that. So it was a little bit nerve-wracking for us. But God really opened a lot of doors and worked on our hearts and blessed us with a very great support system that helped us raise our support.
Yeah. So it all started back in October of 2023, right? We were on our way. We were supposed to go on a mission trip.
Yeah. I just want to point something out. It started in October of 2023. You've been here a year, and that's not even 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Just throwing out there for all you math people.
It was really interesting because we were scheduled to go on a mission trip with Heinemann. You're a big part of my life, man. I love it.
Hey, man, you too, man. Right there.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So, but
they're high-fiving right now for all of our listeners.
Here, Lee, you feel left out.
Now they're high-fiving.
This is
one for Katie, too.
I need
all around.
Nice.
Yep.
This is a podcast. They can't see us.
So,
they're imagining, and it's better if they were. It's just better. Go, Austin.
All right. So we were scheduled to go on this mission trip, and just God had different plans, and so we ended up making it to Atlanta, and obviously I had to take a week off at work, and so I had this vacation time planned for this mission trip, and the trip we don't make it, right? And so we're on our way back, and I call my wonderful wife, and I kind of come up with this great idea. Hey, we're off for the week. Why don't we take advantage of this vacation time and let's go on vacation? Let's go spend some money, right? Like that's where my head went. And she said, or we could be responsible and get started in support raising. And I'm like,
because we had been accepted as appointees in like September, like the month before.
Yeah. And so I'm like, okay, you know what? That's the responsible thing to do. Let's do it. And so that week, and I've been praying. We've been going through some studies and different, ways to get this kicked off. And that week, we actually went from 0% to 40% supported in 1 week.
That's insane.
Which was
the whole week with meetings, people coming to our house, phone calls. It was
it was
busy.
like God was just opening so many doors.
And it was really cool, man. Just on the side, let's go back to the whole mission trip thing for a second. That was supposed to happen because it was like we missed our flight. We had 20 people trying to rush to get on this airplane. We missed our flight and had to come home.
Yep.
And we're like, okay, God, what are you doing? What are you doing? So obviously we had to change dates and stuff like this. It was just big. It was just really, it just kind of felt like a big burden. And then out of nowhere, God says, well.
So the interesting thing, when we were supposed to go on the mission trip, I was at 0%. When we actually went on the mission trip, I was already at 100%.
Yeah, that's nuts.
We were already working full time.
We were working. We had been working. We actually had to take
time
off to come off of this
for you to go
from camp to actually go on the mission trip.
So let's put that into perspective now. Beginning of October.
Yep.
Of 2023, you guys were at 0%.
0%. Yeah.
That mission trip doesn't happen. You start doing fundraising in the time that support raising in the time that you would have been on the mission trip. And we actually went on the mission trip at the end of February.
Yep.
So from October to February
1st. February 1st was our first day at Camp Nathanael.
November, December, 4 months.
Yeah. And here's the interesting thing too. I went and talked to my boss. So at the college, you work a full semester, right? It's half a year. And it was really interesting because when I told him, I said, hey, I'm going to Camp Nathanael. He really was almost encouraging me to kind of wait until we're closer because I'm at 0%, right? When I'm talking to him, he's like, well, maybe you want to wait. And he was trying to take care of me. And I appreciate that so much. But I was like, no, we're done. God's got to provide, like we're not, like he's calling us to it.
And we were very confident that God was calling us here and that he was going to take care of us.
And so I put in my notice. So and this was October, like I said, we were at 0%, but my last day at the college was January 1st. Like I'd already said, I'm done. Because God, I mean, that's the whole thing. And I encourage people with that so much. When God calls you to it, like, don't say no, like just jump and trust that he's going to take care of you. Right. If he calls you to it, why would he not provide for it? And so when God opens those doors, man, we just walked through them and he did it. Like it wasn't us. He just opened doors. February 1st, we were here full time, come in, green as you can imagine. Like, it was awesome. It was awesome.
So what did you all, so you all made it here to camp. Mm-hmm. You all have obviously gotten involved in lots of different ministries and different things that are happening around camp, and everybody who works here ends up working in like all the different things.
Yes.
So is there anything specific that you all have been plugged into since you've gotten here that you're like, this, I know there's a few different committees and whatnot that y'all are serving on.
Yeah.
What's your job here?
Right now, I mean, like you said, everyone kind of does everything. Mm-hmm. But right now I'm on the women's committee. So we are planning women's events. We have a couple lined up for this year. Yes, we do.
Actually, by the time this premieres, April 11th and 12th, there's a women's retreat.
There is.
So this is premiering on the 1st.
So please come and join us for our women's retreat on April 11th and 12th. It's an overnight retreat.
If you're not already signed up, hop on to campnathanael.org.
See, look how that works.
Register now. It's never too late. When does this premiere?
April 1st.
Oh, okay.
This took out like almost
Just
2
kidding.
weeks.
Yeah, it's April 1st. Just kidding.
Just kidding.
We missed an opportunity right there.
We missed the April Fool's.
We got to go back and record this whole show again.
Oh, no.
So, well. Women's committee. And
I'm on the family camp committee. So everything to do with family camp, I will have a little hand in that. And I'm also on the married couples retreat committee. There's also a married couples retreat coming up at the end of April.
There is. I'm trying to find it on here. April 25th and 26th. If you are a married couple and you want to come get away for a weekend, get on there, get signed up.
That's right.
It's a ton of fun.
It's going to be a good time.
Man, lots of stuff happening. That just reminds me. Just everybody thinks, oh, camp, it's a summer camp. Nope, there's quite a bit going on. So
you're also on the editing team. Don't forget that.
I also write for Light in the Hills. I also am in the process of creating a curriculum for our Kids Club program, which is kind of the childcare for full-time staff workers during summer camp.
Mission Kids. Yeah.
There's a lot of those mission kids, as we've already talked about, the number of children.
There's so many of them, they have their own camp during the summer.
That's right, they do. That's right, man.
Yes.
Good deal.
All right, Austin, what did you jump into?
So very first, I come in with my work boots on, and I helped James shovel manure. It was awesome.
Yay!
I was
most exciting.
That's why we came to camp.
Yeah. So it was really cool though, because I got to help in maintenance. We built some neat stuff right out the gate. And that was fun. I still get to help out, do some different projects from time to time. But then it was really neat when I got put on some committees. I got plugged into the college committee, the college retreat we just had a couple weekends ago. That's kind of a brand new committee. We had our first college retreat last year, but it was such a good thing that we now have a committee that I'm part of, which I'm really excited for. Also on the men's committee. So by the time this, actually
no, you'll still have time. Just a few more days.
So on the 5th, so this is premiering on the 1st. The 5th, we've got an event coming up we're going to be doing a bunch of field games. We've got speaker that's going to be coming in. We're going to be eating a lot of good food.
I have entered the chili cook-off.
Steven thinks he's going to win the chili cook-off. So if you want to come dethrone Steven.
Well, I've not been throned yet.
That's true. You can make sure he doesn't get thrown. You can make sure he doesn't get it.
All right.
Make sure he's never throned. But yeah, so I'm on the men's committee. Yeah, come check us out. That's gonna be a good weekend or a good day event there. We've got one of the manliest men I know coming to speak for that.
This is true.
This is true. Well, I've heard it said that every time you talk to this guy, his voice gets a little deeper. Like
that's probably right.
It's so he knows who he is. Come see him if you want to know too. But so I'm on the men's committee and trying to think. Oh, I guess one of the biggest committees that I was a part of is camp committee, which is that's kind of big around here, which is really exciting. And
are we allowed to say it?
I think we
are
were
allowed to say it. It was officially announced.
Let me just say it was announced in one of the greatest ways I've ever seen.
It was.
Absolutely.
I'll just say that. Kudos to Cameron.
That was cool.
And whoever
it was a masterpiece.
Masterfully done, sir. Masterfully done. And of course what we have to announce is what?
So I am the new camp director, which
Yay!
I don't have headphones on, so I don't know what you
can't hear the applause.
Okay,
I didn't do the sad trombone, so don't worry.
Do you like how we make him announce his own thing there? Like we could be polite and make him more humble, but we're like, no, I want to see what he does when he has to say it out loud.
That's right, man. That's right.
It's really a title that I'm humbled by. I'm looking forward to this. It's a lot of work, but I'm going to do the best that I can, and through like if God's got to help me or it's not right. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see what God does this summer through our summer camp ministry. And yeah, I don't know. I might be missing one. I don't remember. I don't know. But I've done a lot of stuff.
They all blend.
Yeah, you do a lot.
Yeah, they all blend. They really do.
You did dethrone Stephen as camp director, though.
Ooh. See, I'm following. So here's the thing,
I bowed down, my friend.
So a long time ago, forever ago, when I was in high school, he was our FCA guy and youth leader, like this old man sitting beside me. And I was like, I was like, I look up to this guy and I want to live up to Stephen one day.
Stephen, you forgot that this podcast is also here as it's kind of like a therapy session.
Is that what that is?
So that you can learn to deal with.
Okay, well that's good.
With your age.
Good to know.
We're here to help you, Stephen.
Well,
we love you.
Well, I need a couch instead of a.
Oh yeah.
Instead of a swivel chair, then.
That's funny. But yeah, so Stephen met him there and was like, "Man, I really look up to this guy." And then. You had 6 kids, so I had to have 7. You were camp director, so now I got to at least be here for 2 years, right?
Right. Well, that's true, man, because I was in and out in one. So,
no, I'm just playing.
Oh man, listen, I am thrilled. I am thrilled that you guys are in the position that you're in. That God has saw fit to just to bring you all in there and just work as camp director last year. Just going ahead and seeing the impact that you guys made on our summer missionaries last year and whatnot. Ashley and I both were talking on the way out. And we're like, this couldn't be any better fit in our opinion. So
that's sweet.
We're extremely thankful for you guys. So hey, we are pretty much out of time. And we've talked about events coming up.
Yes. So if you want more of those events, hop on to campnathanael.org. That's where you're going to find out about all the different events that are happening. You can sign up for events there. Signing up for events is helpful because then we know how much food to fix. So please do that.
That's right.
It helps our food director very much. Michelle appreciates it.
Absolutely.
And yeah.
Well, Austin, Katie, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us today.
Hey, thank you for having us.
It's been quite good. We appreciate you guys. Lee, I'll be on time next time.
It's all good. Our next episode, I was looking at it, is coming out on the 15th.
Yeah.
So if I've got all of my dates correct there, that is probably going to be our Easter episode.
Woohoo!
So we'll be talking Easter next time.
Awesome.
And Jesus and resurrection and all of the good things that gets mixed into that.
That's right.
We'll see y'all again on the 15th.
All right, guys, have a great one, and we'll see you back here soon.